didn't it? Instead, Blackiston, Rayner. Got that one online. Give them an inch. Dropped, and as a result, Brisbane are all over it. Wilmot, momentum, confidence, and the skill with the finish. And the celebration's the best part of all. Reveal, fended off, gave it to Cameron, and then to Rayner. They are so loaded with talent. It is unbelievable to watch. Looks like they have been stung into action. Forward handball, Rayner. Dunkley, it's Lohmann's turn. He finally hits the mark. To do. Cornered by McCluggage. Lohmann knew where Rayner was. He had a quick look one way. Charlie on the spot again. Rev up, Charlie. There's another one for the Lions. The siren is about to sound. Not quite their biggest ever win against Essendon, but it's a huge margin. There is a big gap.
It is the Brisbane Lions Fancast back for another week. A little bit later again this week as I had footy on Sunday evening and some updates on that for you later on in the show. But the Brisbane Lions had a big win against the Bombers down at Marvel Stadium, but the talking point of the day was the infamous Whiteboard, which I'm sure we will get to in the show today as well, Patrick. It's all thanks to Hop On Brewery Tours, Crisp Marketing, and of course EB by Hiker, which is where I watched this game from. Phil and Maddie and the team put on a great game day package. It was a lot of fun, lots of people there. It was a good time and thoroughly recommend it, so I'll definitely be back and hopefully organise a time so lots of people can get down there and have some sort of watch party at some point. But let's talk about the footy, Patrick. How did you find it? You weren't watching from EB by Hiker. You were at your own home.
Yeah, which allegedly is heaven based on the brightness going on here. So, yeah, let that be a lesson to everybody that I am reporting live to you from heaven.
Sure.
It was perfectly comfortable, and it was one of the more comfortable games of football I think I've watched in any kind of recency. And you know me, I'm pretty comfortable at the best of times. So it was extremely comfortable. I'm talking laid back on the couch, one arm up in the air, one leg up in the air, comfortable. But that was good.
Yeah, never really threatened. I got off to a very hot start, and that was basically it. You know, they kicked a few in the last quarter, but very similar to last week. It was tools down in the last quarter and try and get through the game. One injury to come out of it at this stage, with Ty Gallop failing an HIA. So another key defender out for a week, so that's something to look forward to. But the changes, Zorko in, Cody Curtin makes his debut, out went Jimmy Tunstall, and who was the other one that went out as well?
Oscar Allen.
Oscar Allen, obviously. Of course. Yes, how good was that?
Yeah. Not great, I think. To see him play quite good football and be starting to... I think we were waxed lyrical about his willingness to physically try and impose himself on the game now, which was something that had happened over time, and then for him to go down with a broken ankle that requires surgery was a kick in the teeth,
kick in the
foot,
kick in the broken foot.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So it was disappointing, and it's tis what it is, but those things tend to suck, and it just seems to be a lot of key position players, and hopefully he'll get a little bit of a run at it before finals, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pisser, and obviously West Coast fans are having their fun with that news. Told you this guy's made of glass, all that sort of stuff, but I guess you can't really help a broken foot. It does seem like a bit of bad luck.
Nah, but also, West Coast, you got beaten by Richmond, so zip it.
What did you make of Cody Curtin's debut? I thought he started well, like good, strong mark on the wing, presented well, got into some good areas. I mean, he did some nice things, missed a couple of shots on goal. Rayner robbed him at the end there.
It was, the last quarter aside, it was quite a funny situation. I mean, that last quarter was, but I mean, he did what you would want a role-playing, key forward to do. If anything, it was the sort of game where, if you compared it to Ty Gallop's first game or first couple of games, he probably showed more. Cody Curtin in those games, which isn't to create like an undue comparison, but it's always good when you see people with the particularly a first gamer go in and have the confidence to take contested marks or lead high up the wing and try to progress play in a way that the team is very familiar with. So the signs were very good early, and I think that it's definitely a work in progress. It won't be super linear the way that it happens. He is pretty gangly, I think is the kindest way to put it. He's probably absolutely
tall,
would beat the shit out of me.
He's a big boy, and he's built enough. He's obviously got room to put on a bit more size, but he's a good sized kid.
Yeah, and I think he'll grow into his body, as we've seen, a lot of tools over the year, and you can see how his brother was back for Adelaide as well. So yeah, I thought it was good, and I liked the ambition to go with that. With the intention of creating a more stable backline rather than bringing in Joyce or Zach Ostelski and then putting Gallup back forward. The kind of irony is that's now not the case. Next week we're going to have to shuffle the backline around, which is, a little bit annoying that you're having to shuffle both in the span of 2 weeks, and that was clearly the plan not to do. So that's okay. We've got a short turnaround. How good is it? I mean, I know this is getting ahead of ourselves, but looking ahead at 2 fixtures, because it was brought up that we had a 6-day turnaround, and then we have another 6-day turnaround, both home games. And both the teams we play in the next 2 rounds play after us in the week. So I think Geelong are coming off a 5-day break, and Carlton played, last night. So, the fixturing is actually giving for once.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of holes to pick in the fixture. For instance,
specifically
night.
for us.
Yeah, for us it's been alright.
Specifically, aside from that, absolutely terrible. Why we were playing at 12:30 and then there was an hour and a half gap of no football, then a double up. Why did they not just play the game at Cardinia, starting at like 3 o'clock? Why did that have to start at 4:30? Like that.
The most annoying thing about this weekend was, 2 decent games, against each other, competing against each other on Friday night, and then Saturday night, St Kilda Carlton standalone. No thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I sat down with the intention of watching. I think I'd just been like hypnotized, confused by the fact that the football games were generally pretty good over the weekend, with the exception of ours. There was a point where all of the games were a couple of goals, and then ours was the outlier. And I'm like, all right, it could be interesting to see how these like Carlton idiots go. And then I got about a quarter in, realised that the commentary team was like not what I would call an all-timer. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? And realised that doing anything better was preferable to watching Carlton versus St Kilda. So, and then it was quite enjoyable to then check later on and see that Carlton were, leading at halftime and then coughed up like 15 goals in the second half or whatever. So, let's just say that was the perfect narrative for what it should have been. But, the fixturing is nightmarish. And thoughts last week, we talked a little bit about Greg Swan being under a little bit of pressure. Do we think that him being there, Andrew Dillon is really trying to like move the heat away from him, or is that a chat for later on?
It's probably a chat for later on, but I think the person most thankful for that whole thing is Laura Kane, who's not copping a beating each and every week, and now it's turned to Swanee.
Yeah, I mean, somehow I don't think that Greg Swan will care as much as Laura Kane did.
No. Probably not.
Which I think is good. And I think people in that sort of a position that is, high criticism based, they need to have a thicker skin than what Laura Kane probably had, which is not to cast aspersions at her, but it's more just the fact that clearly in taking time off, during some pretty pivotal times. Not right for the role. Anyway, the game. How drunk were you?
No, I wasn't too bad. Fair to say, the $70 game day package, thanks to EB by Hiker, was definitely amazing value. Good food and some good drinks on tap, and a big shout out to Ross as well, who came down and got to have a chat to him and meet him. It was always nice to meet people that listen to the show, and he was a great fella and good to have a drink with. And Jocelyn from Hop On Brewery Tours actually popped in a bit later on as well. She was doing a brewery tour and popped in at EB by Hiker, so it was good to see her, and they were having a good time on their brewery tour. So it was a good day all in all. It was great.
What did you have to eat for lunch?
So I had it was called a Caminita burger, something like that. Great.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
The Caminiti special.
Or Carnita or something like that. But good. Real good. Drinks good.
Tell you what, yeah, you are getting old. The fact that you're ordering stuff you don't remember what it is, and it was like a day ago. It's a look into the future for us, I suppose, in this situation. Did you drink my pint from last week, or?
No, that's still up for grabs, and we will get to the tips later on. We have a new winner for this week as well.
I got bloody done by Cook in the showdown. So at 13 seconds, and it would have been a back-to-backer, I can assume. But the game was good. It was extremely comfortable. I don't know how valuable it is to actually analyse this game.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for.
I know, yeah.
The small forwards, I thought, probably had their best game as a collective. Bailey and Rayner was on from the start. His pressure was good. He was hitting the scoreboard. It was, it wasn't one of his game-breaking matches, but he certainly...
It didn't really need to be, I think.
But yeah, pretty consistent across the game with his effort. Lohman, probably his best game for the year, I would have thought. Bailey was obviously really good. So that was pretty pleasing. Connor McKenna as well played pretty well. So he backed up his performance. Link played well as, again, without necessarily like having the stellar performance that he did. It would have been different if Kako was available. He probably would have had the job on him there and might have made a bit of difference. But it was, I don't know, Essendon they were bad. They were really bad.
Yeah, they're not in great, they're not having a good time. To put it lightly. The only time they had any kind of joy was when they were just sort of crowding the contest and stopping the ball getting from outside to in, which is not a sustainable way to play against us. And I think it was early in the second quarter maybe that they got a little bit of joy with that. And it kind of looked, and I think there was definitely some people that were thinking, oh no, here we go. It's one of those ones where we're taking our foot off the pedal early and going to create, I made a joke last week that we'd win by 12 points or something, 9 points or something like that. But it was just a case of them committing way more players to the contest. And then we were just like, the ball would come out and then we would kill them on run and spread. And they really had no answer to it. And it's kind of when there's that level of difference in skill, first and foremost, but I think as well, like, there's a lot of people talking about like Brad Scott, like, Essendon don't want Brad Scott coaching the team, but I don't think that Brad Scott is necessarily the problem. I think the team is the problem. And it's a bit similar to Carlton where, yes, I think probably Brad's a better coach than Voss at this point in time, but I don't think that either of the team's systemic and fundamental issues are down to the coach. And if they are in that sort of a comparison, I think it's more down to Voss because he's been there for longer. But yeah, Essendon really don't have a lot going for them at the moment. They do have a lot of young players that Roby seemed pretty all right. Howie, I swear Howie was calling him Rovey the whole game, and it was really confusing me. And then I saw his name pop up and I was like, it's a B. You're not like Spanish. So... Roby. Get the Roby out. You say after you've had a shower, like, oh, put the Roby on. No one's ever said that, but that's what they would say. And maybe people can start saying that.
Archie Roberts was good as well. I think Conor McKenna was largely responsible for him. He wasn't as damaging as he could have been, but it's just a bit of a surprise on the Essendon side of things that Parrish and Sartis both dropped or omitted or managed or whatever when they probably could have used at least one of those guys.
Did you see when the crowd, when it cut to Parrish and some in the crowd and they were like having a big old laugh?
Yeah.
Not a good look. Like, really not a good look. What's the fella that was blonde is now not blonde that kicked all of the shots for Essendon?
Caddy.
Nate Caddy. He's really good. And I thought it was a really fascinating, one-on-one between him and Ty Gallop. They basically went everywhere. Caddy had a lot of shots.
Yeah, 3 goals, 5 in the end, so could have had a big day.
2 of the goals he kicked were not on Gallop, and I think the other ones, he was getting pushed so far wide that I think him kicking inaccurately is as much on Gallop's defensive play as anything else. Because that was sort of the main difference. If your team is in a better place, or if you're being defended differently, not being pushed out of that central channel, you're then able to take shots at a higher percentage chance of kicking them. And he just was taking them from the boundary line again and again. And that, to me, is what you want. Like, what you want. The issue that we've come across as the Lions is people just slotting them from the boundary. And that happened a lot last year, but didn't happen to on the weekend, and that's good. But I thought Gallop was really good. Yeah. I thought Caddy was really good. They both had good games, and it's a sort of one where you go, well, how do you score that? But I thought it was, again, Gallop's best game as a defender.
I still take his performance the week before probably over this week, but I mean, there's nothing to say that this game was bad or anything like that. No, I thought he was good. I just thought he was particularly good the week before. Did you happen to catch Nate Caddy's interview? I can't remember who it was with after the game.
I did not. Please tell me.
If you were an Essendon fan and you listened to it, you'd be like, oh God, that's a guy that's got one foot out the door. It was basically just like, yeah, I don't want to accept this. My whole career basically so far has been a lot of this. Getting a bit over it. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the overriding sentiment on what he had to say. I can't remember who it was with. I don't know if it was with Seven or a radio station that just got uploaded to socials afterwards, but it didn't sound great.
Not good. Understandable though.
Yeah.
Like, really understandable. I didn't realise that, I didn't realise Zach Merritt was playing until like the third quarter. He's so, as far as some of the racks up possessions anonymously, I know he kicked a goal in the last quarter, but that guy does nothing. Like, tangibly has done nothing a lot of the time that I've watched him play. Does he suffer a little bit from that? The old GWS faceless man syndrome, where you kind of you hear about a player and then they sort of just meld into the background? Possibly. But the team played really well. Essendon did all right in the last quarter when we kind of stopped caring a little bit, but then we also just kicked 5 goals and we're like, if we wanted to, we could. And that was kind of the way the game went.
Yeah, a little bit. There was a bit of a worry about an injury to Link as well, but I haven't heard too much more on that. So
he had some ice on his left hamstring, and I think Fagan said in his press conference, which is not always the greatest, information dump, but he said that it was more soreness rather than tightness or that sort of a thing. To me, what's the difference? But we will wait and see. And then Gallop obviously failing his HIA, which was... Do you remember the moment that happened?
No.
So he got caught holding the ball, but he got hit in the head twice by 2 people in the tackle. And it was like, okay, holding the ball, not the guy got concussed. Cool. Good job, umpires. But they were not really a factor in the game, which is a good change.
Definitely. The halfback, so Zorko back, he was good. Back to, looked like he hadn't missed any footy really.
I mean, that's the beauty of being a 375 game. How many games does Zorko play?
310-ish, give or take.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't win on Price is Right rules, but having played a lot of games, I mean, and being a very compact individual, he can just come in.
310.
And
I've actually gone and nailed it.
Don't pretend that you don't have like a counter that you mark off like your Tom Hanks in fucking Castaway.
I just knew he was going to probably take over Simon Black this year. Anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when you get to 321 or whatever Simon Black was, you'll then, Zorko will hit your list because you'll have to change your son's name from Simon to Dane. We can cut that out if you don't want his child's name on the podcast.
I think everyone knows by now.
Well, just be thankful you didn't have to name your second child Brian.
That's true.
After that exchange from a couple of years ago, because Brian Myers has not come to the Lions, has not won a Brownlow medal, and has not broken the assists records. So you're living dangerously, Brooksy.
I don't actually recall ever agreeing to that one, but sure.
You did by silence / omission.
Okay, fair enough. Look, what else do you want to chat about this game? Because it was pretty boring.
Draper wasn't very good, but that's fine.
No, he wasn't.
Peter Wright was pretty good in the ruck. And, I don't know, Harris got a corky, which looked, lower on the list of corkies that would have hurt, particularly after seeing Leon Ryan get run over by a truck a couple of weeks ago. So, that's pretty much it. Froggy was really good. I really like Leicester when there is that kind of feeling that we're dropping our standards a little bit in the beginning of the second quarter, and he just comes out and absolutely nails one in a tackle and then yells at everybody, and it's like, if Leicester's annoyed, like we probably should do better, because you can tell his mind is going like, I know he's pretty friendly. You've met him a couple times, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's very friendly, and he'd be like,
great bloke.
Guys, it's a privilege to play football, in this position. So let's not do that. That's how I imagine he would vocalise it to the rest of the team anyway. So, yeah, that's I teleported there. So the amazing powers you get when you're in the afterlife.
All right, well, let's get to some votes thanks to Help on Brewery Tours, helponbrewtours.com.au. Book yourself a half for a full-day tour across the Gold Coast or Brisbane. Reasonably easy for me this week. I've gone Zorko the 1, Bailey the 2, and Darcy Wilmot the 3, because you know how much I love a Darcy Wilmot goal, and that was a quintessential Darcy Wilmot goal.
Yes, Darcy Wilmot was clearly best on ground. It was clearly his best performance for the year. So he gets my 3. Hoomster gets my 2. It has to be Zach Bailey because we have not voted for him very often. The 1 you can kind of toss up between a bunch of people. And I'm just scrolling. I probably would have given it to Ty Gallop at half time. But you know what? Let's give it to... I just closed. Yeah, Kyle Lohmann. Why not? 4 goals. Have good. Yeah, Kyle Lohmann, why not?
Yeah, his best game for the year as well. He was really good.
I understand that there's an element of frustration to his yin and yang, not dissimilar to Zach Bailey at times, but he is a player that can kick multiple goals in big games, so I'm willing to accept the foibles, let's say.
Fair enough. I thought Kitty was also pretty good across the day as well. He had a good game.
Yeah, the backline worked really, really well, and I think they've got the balance more or less right in terms of... I mean, we were playing Essendon, so, jury's out. We'll find out how we go against the... I mean, it was pretty good last week too, so, yes, we'll wait and see. Will Ainsworth come in?
I'd say
Not
so.
Sure. Possibly this week they could hold him back to Geelong, and then he could do the... Ainsworth does pretty well against Geelong in terms of doing... the opposite of what Geelong like to do, but that's getting a couple of weeks ahead of ourselves. And if Chris Fagan heard us talking 2 games in the future, he'd be probably disappointed in us. So let's not do that. Shall we talk about Whiteboard?
Yeah, let's have a quick chat about the Whiteboard. I don't know that we're going to say anything that hasn't already been said. I just think...
Bold of you to assume, my friend.
I do think it's interesting. Anyone that has played footy that is now in the media seems to have one particular take, and anyone that hasn't played footy and is just like a career media / journalist personality has another take. And I'm more inclined to take the side of the people that played footy and say everyone obviously does this or their own version thereof. Yeah, there were a couple of things that were a bit harsh. But
there was one thing that was, in my opinion, inappropriate, but I think the context around it makes it more appropriate.
Yeah.
But saying Ben Mackay has low confidence, that's a fact. Did you not see him play?
Yeah, I just... The funnier thing / harsher thing about that was just strengths was blank. That was probably the thing that, if you're looking at that as Ben Mackay or an Essendon fan, you're going, this is what they think of us. But then at the end of the day, he finishes with 5 touches and has no impact on the game. And
well, what would you say his strength is?
Yeah, look, his bank account.
Yeah, and imagine if they put that on there. Like, imagine if that was what was put on the thing, was bank balance.
Yeah.
Like, that would be, And the thing with Mackay, and I've heard from a couple of Bombers fans, is like, their thoughts are his strengths of being a 200 centimetre big-bodied key back is, like, opposite to what his usefulness is. It's the reason he's in the team and shouldn't be. So his strengths are actually his biggest weaknesses, but that's kind of getting a little bit off topic. Shall we get the tinfoil hats out?
Oh, I'd love to.
So I'm not going to talk about any of the content of the board other than the fact that maybe Jackson Pryor's partner or girlfriend or whatever, maybe he brings out the best of him in social situations, and that's her true strength. Who knows?
Well, look, they would all know her, and maybe she's just a good person that they all get along with as well. I'm guessing that's probably not the case.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, okay. Well, let's look at it this way. Let's say Tom Green from GWS moved, and then the team analysing Tom Green's new team, whoever it is, had Tom Green, strengths, mum. What would that mean to you?
Oof, yeah, I mean, I guess they would all, yeah, because we've been...
Because she makes cakes for that and has the whole team around for dinner. But it would seem inappropriate, and I don't think they're the same. But it's the sort of thing where I think within clubs, particularly someone that's been in the club for 5 years, it is a bad look on the whole, given the Lions, I suppose, their kind of perceptive relationship with women over the past 2+ years.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it?
It's not. It's a repetition of things, which I think is. It's a kind of lose-lose situation, because if the club came out and said, like, we don't view women in this way, we're really sorry to women in general or our AFLW team, that's kind of an admission of guilt, even if it isn't. So. Yeah. But anyway, tinfoil hats. This is a microcosm of what it's like to be an expansion team, because you're in Brisbane hosting an Auskick event and a Bombers fan turns up. Can you imagine a Collingwood team hosting an event for young players and a Carlton fan turning up in their rooms? It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen in Melbourne. You wouldn't have fans of other clubs going to clubs events. But when you dump it in Brisbane or Sydney or, expansion cities, you are going to get, like, Tim's dad, who's a Carlton fan, or so-and-so's dad, who's a St Kilda fan, or because they're like, we're now in Brisbane, but we still like our teams in Melbourne. So it's like a microcosm of what that is. You don't get that kind of intel leak or the willingness to, like, look for things and then share them, because people would be loyal to the clubs down in Victoria. I just can't see that happening in Victoria, because you wouldn't get Brisbane fans going to a Collingwood thing or Essendon fans going to a... Like, it just wouldn't happen. I don't think it would happen anyway. And I just think that I know that it's a very loose dot that I'm connecting here, but I do think there's something in it. What do you think? Am I insane?
I mean, yes, we all know that.
That's both a strength and a weakness on my whiteboard.
I mean, put the whiteboard away, face it away, scrub it down. Everyone's in Melbourne at that point. It's just...
I wasn't talking about your thoughts on the whiteboard. I was talking about your thoughts on my thoughts, Because how many people that play, for the Chooks, how many are Lions fans?
50%? Yeah.
Yeah. But, if you were playing... I know that the Roosters aren't affiliated with the Lions, but if you were... I've gone off the boil here. But I just think that at Auskick events at Icon Park or at Punt Road that are affiliated with a club, you're not going to get people that are not affiliated with the club going down here. I just don't think it's going to happen. So,
yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I guess it just depends on location.
But yes, I agree. Wipe the whiteboard down, flip it round,
and you better believe they'll be doing that moving forward. They're not going to leave it there. Especially
I reckon
while
post it. Put it up and post it themselves.
Get on the front foot.
On the front foot, just say, hey, this is what we've got about... It's Carlton. How funny, Ooh, Ollie Florent turns the ball over more than anyone.
Yeah.
Harry Mackay, low confidence. And weaknesses, not as stylish a haircut.
No one's going to care about this by the time people are listening to this right now, by the way, they're not going to care about it. Something else will have happened, and whatever.
Well, sorry to, dig up the skeleton of the weekend.
No,
here we are.
I guess it's just, a mountain out of a molehill. It's a bit of a non-story, as I said, and as a lot of people have said, all clubs would be doing their own version of this.
Well, I think it even goes back to it goes back a long time, and I know that Fague said that he got it from Eddie Jones, the rugby union coach, who I think coached the Wallabies for a while and was pathetic, and then went maybe over to England. But I think I recall the three-peat team talking about how they would characterise opposition players in a similar way. They did it in a different way. They did it, I think, more on a psychological-based metric, which kind of worse.
I don't know. If you're not scouting your opposition, what are you doing?
Well, that's the thing, is that I think that if there was nothing next to those players they would be told to watch more vision to find a strength or a weakness. That's just the way that it would be. That is their job, particularly in a game where you are directly playing on an opponent or a handful of opponents in the course of a game. So absolutely nothing to see here.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Whatever. Like I said, no one's going to care about this very, very shortly. We'll move on. We've got another game on Friday, and it'll be old news by then against Carlton.
It'll get brought up.
Probably, but... I don't know. Now that it's, Tuesday by the time people hear this one, people are already looking ahead to round 9.
You're not going to do the 8 p.m. upload like you did last week where it just
I'll see what
up
I can do. I'll see what I can do. Hey, quickly, big shout out to the Brisbane Lions Fancast family. We officially hit the 100,000 downloads during the week, so a big thank you to everyone that has... listened to the show over the last couple of years. It means the world. So a big thank you. That's just going to crowbar that one in there.
100,000 is a lot of people.
Yeah.
What's wrong with all of you?
They're just footy fans like you and I, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for us.
Although I must say, when I was at EB by Hiker and I was having a chat to Ross, who was there, he said he does relate to you because you both hate the same things and hate the same commentators and things like that. So there you go.
Well, that's good. Next time you do an EB by Hiker insertion. I considered video calling you at halftime just to see what happened, and then realised probably shouldn't. Plus, also, I was pretty relaxed,
You should do that. See if we can get
maybe
you on
next time I'll be there in spirit. Very befitting of my current situation.
All right, speaking of EB by Heiko, let's get to the tipping. And West Coast tricked me up this week, but other than that, I got everything else right. I guess with the draw on Thursday, that everyone just gets that tip.
Yeah, I got done by the 13 seconds to go Adelaide goal.
You tipped Richmond, though?
No, absolutely not.
Ah.
And I'm also out of the gauntlet, so thanks a lot, Richmond and Harley Reid and Elliot Yeo and all those. But now that I have to think about the gauntlet, so I got a big 7, which is, disappointing after 3 weeks of consecutive 8ers.
Yeah.
Look, a couple of 9s.
Yeah, so our weekly winner is Jaden H, Jazza_13, who got perfect round and the margin of 16. So you're our weekly winner. You win 300 waypoints. Thanks to EB by Hiker. Get in touch, and we'll make sure we get that to you. But yeah, congratulations, Jaden. Well done.
I guess when you're in the hundreds, you can afford to take risks. So.
All right, let's have a quick look ahead to round 9.
You were not given that any kind of daylight.
No.
Okay, good.
Because I'm also fair way down the pecking order.
Yeah.
Hawthorn Freo Thursday night. That is going to be a belter.
Yeah, I think it's a Fremantle.
Yeah.
I don't think Freo is good.
Optus?
Yes. And the Hawks have had a few games in a pretty high intensity games. I think. I don't think Freo are as good as they actually are.
But you're tipping them.
But I am tipping them. I don't think their backline is I think their backline's a little bit overrated. I don't rate Liam Ryan super highly. Liam Ryan?
I thought so.
Who's the guy in the back line that can't kick?
Luke Ryan. Inside channel on the side of the square every time when he does big bomb. It's horrible. But I am tipping them by, I don't know, 23 points. Why not? Yeah, I've got them by 2 goals. Us, obviously. Yes. Port and Bulldogs. Bulldogs, despite their injuries, have been playing pretty well. Sydney will beat North Melbourne. GWS against Essendon. Yeah. St Kilda, Gold Coast. I mean, Gold Coast. Gold Coast are kind of playing not great, but St Kilda are awful. Yeah, but they've got a sneaky good record against the Suns. Yeah, but yeah. They always drag them into the muck as well. Oh, but it's in Darwin. Forget it. Oh, it's in Darwin, is it? Yeah. Because the Gold Coast Suns record in Darwin is not sneaky at all. It's there for everyone to see. Their percentage is like 7,000 or something like that. Yeah. Cats, Melbourne, who really stuck it to Sydney, it must be said. Kicked 100 points on them. So I never thought I'd say this, but I'm liking Melbourne. Yeah, I mean, well, I guess it's a pleasant surprise having forgotten that they existed. To then have them being, not an awful wafting entity of shit across the league, which even in their good times, they have been. But at the same time, I have no love for Melbourne, so they won't play finals. They might make wildcard, but they won't play finals. Well, they might. No, they won't play finals. Okay. Well, they're sitting 7th at the moment, so they're wild card at the moment, but, there's plenty of footy to go. When I say that they might play wild card, I'm saying they might finish 9th or 10th. The top 8 is still the top 8 in my heart. Yeah. So, if you're in the top 8, you're playing finals. If you're not, then
You're not, and I don't think they will. But that's just my opinion, the humble little opinion of a little fella.
Well, in
we'll
saying
see.
that, we've managed to sneak our way into the top 4. Would you believe it?
Shocker. Weren't you saying that we were due for a down year after the first couple, and I was just like, just shut up.
Doesn't sound like
I'm
something I would say.
we'll be fine. It's like, we don't need a rebuild year, it's not like, oh no, 2 up, 1 down. It's like, just keep powering through. We'll be fine.
Plenty of season left to go. Just get all our
Plenty of
injuries out
season.
of the way now.
Yeah, well, it doesn't normally traditionally work for us, but it does also traditionally work for us. So,
All right, now
we'll be
next
right.
week against the Blues, obviously Ty Gallop will go out. Are you rolling with Harris Andrews and Froggy as our key defenders, and then bringing in Noah, moving Link back up forward? Or are you bringing in a Darrow Joyce or a ZZ?
Do Carlton have any tall players that aren't Harry McKay?
Kemp has been their other sort of target up forward. He's been playing pretty well this year.
Didn't he have like 1 billion shots in the first quarter and just sprayed all of them? Oh, you didn't watch the game.
I
only
watched some
the
of
first
it,
quarter.
yeah.
You watched some of it. You would do that. You're one of those folk that's like, any football's better than no football. Give me wild card and plug it into my veins.
No, I'm
Meanwhile-
certainly not at that. He kicked 3 goals, 3. Mitch McGovern.
I think he kicked 3. I think he kicked 3 behinds in the first quarter before I switched off. Thankfully, Mitch McGovern. Okay, yeah. Do you need 2 talls? I don't know. I don't think so, because you can just have Frog go to McGovern. Pitnet's one to watch out for, and is like, 450 stoppage craft. Will Cripps be out, given that he chicken winged someone? Probably not, because he plays for Carlton, and that's okay. He's going to go for the Steven Seagal soon, probably in this game, pressure point. I don't know how to preview this game. We all know how I feel about Carlton, so maybe you should do the heavy lifting here. Not saying that you like Carlton, but I can't look at them objectively.
Yeah, it's... I know you can't. Harry Dean will be missing as well, and probably Ed Cowan, so they'll have to make a couple of changes, and I think at this stage Paddy Cripps has been cited. I don't know if there'll be any suspensions or anything, so that's a bit of a wait and see.
There should be, but he's Carlton captain, and we know.
They'll probably just bring George Hewitt back if that's the case. Yeah, it's a tough one, because Carlton are obviously easy to poke fun at because of the nature they've been performing and losing. Obviously up at halftime and then shitting the bed consistently each and every week this year. But, their good footy is good, and they are still staying with teams largely. Having said that, they're still no good.
I mean, they stayed with one team a bit. That was what, Fremantle?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call them slightly beating Richmond staying with the team. I mean, if anything, they stayed too close to Richmond and they shouldn't have. But they're awful. Where's Will Hayward? He's not in the team for whatever reason. What's going on there? Do we know? Is he injured?
No, he's playing.
Is he?
Yeah.
Did I just blaze past his name?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
there he is.
He's a good footballer.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, they should not trouble us. In the same way that Essendon should not have troubled us, and they didn't. So if we just continue that along, it'll be party time at the Gabba. You'll be going?
That is a wait and see as well. So there is the opportunity that I might have to pass on my tickets. It is going to be a case of whether I can get someone to look after my little boy, but we'll wait and see.
Is it because so deterred by your last experience at the Gabba? Yeah.
What happened at the last time?
Well, you left. You left early.
Oh, that's right, yeah. No, that hasn't deterred me. I'd love to go to this game. It's just going to be, being a dad is going to have to come first.
A logistics-based decision.
Yes, very much so.
That's good.
We'll wait and see.
You radio folk, sometimes you just got to be concise with the way you talk, which is coming from me, the waffler, the true waffler. So, yes, we should win and we should win well. And there really aren't elements that I look at for Carlton and go, I'm worried about that. There's just nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that I'm actually worried about. Cripps can turn it on, but he's good for about 3 sprints a game. So he'll probably get 40 and kick 3 goals.
Quick chat about the twos, and it really will be a quick chat because, with all the injuries to the AFL side and players like Cody Curtin and stuff coming up to the seniors, they are in a world of hurt at the moment. They were bad last week against Port Melbourne. They were just as bad, if not worse, against Coburg. They got smacked by 10 goals by the Coburg Lions. So, yeah.
It's the Lions Cup.
Yeah, grim times for the twos. Grim times for the twos. A lot of chat about...
I wonder what it's actually like to play for the reserve team if you kind of actually have no real chance to go and play for the ones. Like, what? That perpetual cycle, I'm... If if any listeners have been in that situation where you have played for the twos, reach out, because I'd be very curious to discuss that, of what it is like to play good standard football with kind of no hope to go into the first team. Not everyone's Matty Eagles or Bruce Reville, let's be honest. So, curious, and not in a negative way, in an actual...
genuine curiosity way.
Yeah.
I get it. There's been a lot of chat about Sam Marshall at the moment as well, and his future. A lot of people saying he's already got 1 foot out the door. Will probably be playing for Melbourne next year. There's also a bit of chat, a bit conflicting about his attitude, maybe, is one way to put it. And I'm hearing a lot of different things. On one side that he's got a little bit of golden boy attitude and, sort of too good, doesn't really want to be part of the team. On the other side, it's like, oh, maybe he's just a little bit introverted, a little bit different, maybe something else going on there, and that's just the way that he is. Either way, he's not getting games, and there's already a lot of chat about where he'll be playing footy in the near future. So it'll be interesting to see if Reece Torrent gets a game ahead of Sam Marshall. I think that will be the deciding factor of like, okay, this guy's probably not going to be playing his future footy up here in Brizzy.
Yeah, I mean, his personality, I'm not going to make comment on because I don't know him, and there's not a high enough sample space to make any assumptions. I said in our grand final review that I can completely understand him feeling not quite part of the team.
Yeah.
Mine was on a very, very loosely relative comparison where I was like, I got dragged at halftime in a grand final and still won and felt like I didn't contribute. And, looking back, I'm now like, yeah, cool, I won a grand final. But at the time I was like, I didn't do anything. So I can understand that as a young guy playing men's. But I've not seen anything else ever to assume that he's like, doesn't feel a part of anything. It's strange though, and I talked about it a fair bit last week, so I don't really want to rehash stuff. But, we've just got a lot of coverage in the places that he plays. And even the sort of thing where it's like, well, shuffling someone to a wing or, half forward into the midfield is the marginal gain of having someone else there isn't really that marginal. It's, versatility's created these good problems for us. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. I don't like, and I suppose I don't see Reece Torrent getting a game as well. Like, I don't think there would be any value in that. So,
I guess it just depends. It will depend on injury, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. During the week, they changed rulings to academy and father-son draft picks. Wow, it went dark in this room immediately. Straight heaven and hell, the duality.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. And look, I think... Yeah, I feel sorry for Port and Carlton, who obviously will not... that they'll be the two teams that suffer the most from these immediate changes. I think the changes themselves are probably fair, because it was obviously taking the piss. It's unfair to say that our premierships were built on academies and father and sons. Yes, we've been lucky with a couple of those, but it's just not how we built our list. It's just way too simple to say that, and anyone that
James Heard's an idiot, so...
Yeah, obviously, but look, I've always said that, like, I get it if I bagged for another club. In the same way when the Bulldogs were, like, winning flags or in grand finals, and then they'd get Jamara Ugle-Hagan or Sam Darcy, like, immediately after that. And I was just like, it doesn't seem fair, and I get it. I do get it.
It is funny that the Bulldogs have kind of escaped any kind of blame for this.
Long's premiership list in the 07 to 11 was, Hawkins, Scarlett, Ablett times 2, Nathan, whatever. But yeah,
God, the clouds must be doing some weird stuff outside.
Collingwood's got a bunch of father sons. Like, it is swings and roundabouts. Yes, I get it. If I was St Kilda or another club that has just been stuck middling for a long time, and you see the good teams getting better, of course you'd be pissed off. And I get why they're being so antagonistic over the last 6 months. Like, they've got to stand for something after standing for nothing for 150 years. So, sure, I do understand it, and I do understand now that the rules are a little bit more equitable. And I also like the fact that the instance, like, Richmond puts a pick in for, Levi Ashcroft at pick 1. We match it. Then they get... So their pick gets shunted down to pick whatever, 3, 4, 5. They get a compensation pick at the end of the round. Like, I think that's good. I think the tax and the discounts, depending on where you finish, I think that's good as well. I think largely it is good for the competition. And yes, it has been a piss take for a long time. But what were we supposed to do? Like, we were working with this system that was put in place. It's not like we put that system in place. We did benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think it's fanciful to look at something like, these are the picks they used to get Will Ashcroft. And it's like, yeah, but we traded our picks with other picks to get those picks. So it's kind of like, more so look at what our draft hand was at the beginning of the draft. And yeah, it's not going to, like, look great. But it's going to be like, well, they had pick... I think we had, pick 18 and 17 and 15. It's not like we had pick 5,000 and we were like, that's what we, you're playing the numbers of the game that is being presented to you, which is exactly what you're saying. I think all this will breed internships. Father-sons will go to a club for 2 years. They'll train, and then they will come back to their club for free. Like...
Sure.
Can you imagine, Nick Dacos goes to... Who had first pick that year? I don't know. Someone. West Coast, probably North Melbourne. If he went to North Melbourne for 2 years, there's no way he's going to sign on, given the state that they were in. He would then go, all right, well, I'm just going to go to Collingwood for free. And then they're going to need to fix that problem. So... it's never going to be perfect, and I don't think they should be pretending like it is, which I don't think that they are, but it's going to create offshoot problems. There's going to be problems all the time, and I think that it's just the luck of the draw, literally. I think that the situation that Gold Coast had last year, where they got 5 picks in the first round and Petrarca, is very much a heavy outlier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to look at it and go, I've said it before, the 2016 AFL draft had 4 players from Queensland drafted out of it. 4 players. It was Eric Hipwood, I think it was Jack Payne, might have been like Mitch Hinge or something. Like it was 4 players that were drafted out of Queensland, and that's 10 years ago. So it's not that long ago that you have to look at the state of the game and how it is, and it's just, yeah, it's like a cultural divide or an understanding butt of heads. I look ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever. And the narrative of like, oh well, Greg Swan, took the piss with Brisbane.
That's bullshit.
It's like, what do you want to do? Like, the job came up when the job came up, and people are complaining about it, so he fixed it. And now they're complaining about it again. It's just like, I don't know.
I don't care. Unfortunately, I don't care what St Kilda people say.
No.
I don't think there's any point, because they're like, these are the same people that, you've got to facilitate these things. Like, and I don't know that if you can't sell an idea of where your team is going, if your team is at the bottom, it wouldn't matter who came to your team. Like, yeah, you can look at it and go, let's say hypothetically we were where we were 10 years ago when the Ashcroft brothers came into the club. You still have to sell them an idea of how the team are going to get better. You can't just go, you're a father and son, we own you. Like, that's not how that works. If Lepich was the coach when they came in, or, the later Voss years, or whoever the interims in between, like, and they were like, you guys are the future, the follow-up question from people that are smart enough, that are those high draft picks that are like born and bred to be in the industry, the answer to that question, or the follow-up question, is how? What are you going to do to actually make that happen? And I think clubs like St Kilda have taken a step, the first step, as you said, in 150 years of doing nothing. Clubs like Carlton, they don't know. They have a destination. They have no idea how to get there. And that's not going to change. Like, I don't think Walker going to Carlton next year is actually going to change anything. And if I was him, I probably wouldn't want to go there. Like, I don't think any of us would have begrudged the Ashcrofts for being like, we're in the Sandringham catchment, and St Kilda are doing all right. They're in the premiership window. They probably would have gone to St Kilda. Probably.
Just like Mark Murphy, Mark Murphy had the option to play for Brisbane, chose Carlton because of where the two teams were at that stage.
Yeah, and Blakey.
Yeah, Blakey could have gone to North, went to Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, there's going to be things that happen all of the time that are different, and I think one of the issues that these, like, small man syndrome Melbourne clubs, the boutique Melbourne clubs, they're too high on their own supply. They don't look at what they're actually doing wrong in a footballing sense, in a club sense. They can't see it because they only look at other things and go, oh, what about this? What about this? And it's like, fix your club. Like, stand for something. Do something. Change the way you play. Change your policy around team. Create a different vibe. I don't know. Do something. And they won't. And it's always going to be a problem because players are always going to want to go to clubs that are better run clubs. And the irony is that we were finishing bottom and still attracting good players. Because we sold an idea of how the club could get better. That's how you have Charlie Cameron. That's how you have Lachie Neale and Link McCarthy. And, like, yeah, it's insane. It's actually insane, and it's so, like, head up arse nonsense. That's the gesture for that, by the way. This is not gonna fix that element of the game. And what are they going to do? Like, what then is their plan? Oh, free agency. Are they just going to stop all player movement ever? So once you get drafted for a team, you're locked in forever and you're in prison. Like, they can't stop player movement. They want to give more power to the players. They want to give, like, more power to the club. So it's like, okay, like, all of these things are against each other fundamentally. The less fucking that guy Bassett and the less of those people involved in football, the better, because they don't understand what it is. I don't even understand what it is to be a AFL player, or what it means to be a child, like a 17-year-old these days, because I'm too old. But I understand more than that guy, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. No respect for the St Kilda Football Club, and like I said, I do appreciate that they're trying to do something different this year. They're like, well, we've just been passengers and getting walked over for a long time. Now we're going to start making some noise. But they're going about it in like everything is always someone else's fault, and I'm just going to whinge about everything. And then Ross Lyon is just a condescending prick to everyone. Yeah,
but then they have the gall, and I understand it. But then they go and, oh god, what's that? They understand, like they upload a picture of all the ex-Carlton players together in a photo. It's like, so they can dish it out, but they can't take anything.
Yeah.
And I think that you should be able to do that to poke fun and say, like, hey, look, this is what we took from you. But if it's St Kilda, bit fucking rich. Like, a bit rich.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no respect for a lot of the clubs that are making all of the noise. I still think that, yeah, the what about meism and what, this and that, it's like, we can do it too. We just, anytime there were problems that the Lions were having, the AFL would just throw money your way, and it was down to poor management, and it was pissed away, and it was poor decisions were made for years until the little old man came up.
That's right.
Did you watch Harris Andrews on Unfiltered?
I did, yeah. It was good.
It was good. Like, Harris Andrews talking is always going to be good. I could have gone for about another 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty surface level stuff, but I mean, I certainly still enjoyed it. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why that jogged, neural pathways, but here we are. So, yeah, what else?
Well, thanks to Chris Marketing, let's get to the questions. And if you do want to get your questions in, you can join the Discord, and the link to do that is via our website, brisbanelinesfancast.com.au, where you can also get your free Brisbane Lions Fancast stickers, thanks to Abby and the team at Chris Marketing. Now, yet again, the question section of our Discord got absolutely derailed by Source Chat. And it wasn't you this time.
Yeah,
it was.
I looked in it and went, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, very much.
And I didn't prompt
Abe
you
Simpson
either.
walking into the brothel. Just hat in, hat out, Homer disappearing back into the bushes. From my understanding, there was one legitimate question in there, and it was about Marvel Stadium, and what do you guys think of it as a venue?
When's the last time you've been to Marvel?
It has been a while, at least 5 years. At least. Probably longer.
Oh, hold on. If you went to Marvel 5 years ago, does that mean that you went to a secret game and didn't tell me?
2021. I mean, no, probably not. But it is probably longer than 5 years.
Okay, you can pinpoint the moment where his heart broke in two.
Were you in Melbourne 5 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, well then it definitely was longer than 5 years ago.
Yeah. Fuck, we were about to have a live walkout.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's probably closer to 10 years ago.
Yeah. I haven't been to Marvel in a little while. I seem to always catch us playing St Kilda there.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
Thoughts on it?
Weird.
As a place. Yeah, it is weird,
It feels like you're going to the theatre.
Yeah, it's like cold, lots of concrete. What I do like about it is we seem to play really well there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. I feel like it's weird. I feel like the atmosphere, but at the same time, I think it's because more often than not, the games I have been to there tend to be Bulldogs or St Kilda.
Yeah. I think last time it was a Carlton game I went.
Yeah, I went to the Maybe you did go to the Carlton. Did you go to the Carlton game where the bloodbath in 2021?
No. It's definitely longer than 5 years ago.
All right. Yeah, the crowd always seems to be a bit shit when I go there because it's the Bulldogs or St Kilda. The Carlton game I went to was great because it was the walkout, like the original Carlton walkout. That was great. Loved that. But I also think, Marvel frustrates me because anytime you go, and they announced the crowd, which was 32,000 or something. And
really?
The capacity for Marvel is like 54 or something like that. There's no way that was half full because they, shocker, they include season ticket in that. It's not attendance, it's ticket sales. So they're talking shite, but it's fine. I've never been there when the roof's been off. I asked someone to send me a picture of what the Lions' bays look like because normally they are absolutely sardine packed, and when you compare that to like the standard scatter plotting of the rest of the fans amidst the stadium is always really, really good to see because the Lions fans are always massively loud, particularly at Marvel because we do play against these shit clubs with limited fans. That 3 bays is hot. So don't hate it, don't love it. That's my assessment. Don't know about the sauce. I'm not in the business of spending money on drinks and food at the football because I don't want to go into administration from doing that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit inclined to, and you're going to hate that I'm going to say this, agree with Damien Hardwick where I say it's got no soul.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. Like, I don't think that I'm occasionally right. Of course, Damien Hardwick's occasionally right. Doesn't mean he's not a knob. And it is funny to see his full 180, of being the most privileged little possum playing the run-in at the MCG for Richmond and now being like, you all don't understand what it's like up here at the Gold Coast to the Melbourne alumni. So it is funny. I think if you have someone like that is beating the drum for the Northern States is kind of good, despite the fact that he is reprehensible and looks like Freddy Krueger.
All right, 2 more things before we get going for the week. First question for you, what are your thoughts on Scott Pendlebury wearing the gold number 10 for the record-breaking game?
Tacky, but also, can you imagine if it was a Port Adelaide player that wanted to change their Guernsey to like maybe a prison bar? How much that would be? Eddie Maguire would be in his bonnet about it. So tacky, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm firmly in the camp of Kane Corns that Pendlebury would have been good to have. They probably would have won had he played. Like, what was it, 42 seconds before he pulled that one out? Elite, fantastic, loved it. Tacky, good for him though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Yeah. I personally wouldn't want to wear a gold number on my jersey.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
It doesn't scream. It doesn't scream Pendlebury, does it?
No. But I mean, maybe I just clearly don't know Scott Pendlebury, but I would have thought he'd be the sort of guy that'd be like, nah, let's just go out and play some footy. But the whole way they're sort of manufacturing when he's going to play it to obviously beat West Coast. It'd be funny if West Coast won, wouldn't it?
It would be amazing if they did. By the way, okay, I hate AI, right?
Sure.
Why is there not an AI thing I can get here to correct the contrast and the brightness based on my environment? Like, we're messing around with people that are like AI making the shittest art in the world, taking dollars out of creatives. Meanwhile, I can't get the brightness to work on my fucking camera because it's... Sorry, go on. Pendlebury.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. Whatever. It's going to be fun, I suppose. Who cares? Last little bit, Chook chat.
Hit me.
Neglected to have Chook chat last week.
You didn't play a game, did you?
Yeah, we didn't play last week, but we did play Sunday afternoon, 4:30 at Mount Gravatt. Smacked him.
Smacked him.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
How
152-5 was the final score.
So they kicked 5 behinds.
They did.
That is heinous. Did you forward pocket or did you play on ball a bit?
No, stayed up forward, and then last quarter, big magnet shuffle, and I played down back.
Kicked my first goal against Mount Gravatt as a 7-year-old playing under 8s. That's how damn good I was. Took a bounce. Yeah. Playing on that weird sort of smaller, lower oval at Mount Gravatt for the children, one can assume.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think we belted them by 150 points, so I don't think there's enough time to do that in under 8s. Don't know what the quarters are in that sort of situation. But yeah, good on you. I'm assuming you are, very much top of the table with a very healthy percentage. I don't even know if you do tables in that.
Well, that's the thing with over 35s is there's no finals, there's no ladder, there's no points. It's just, just for the love of the game.
For the love of the game. Now, why did you not maybe distribute your good players amongst some of the other teams to, are we going to go back to, we'll put Dano on the other team, swap at half time to make it a bit more even, or are you just there to punch down?
Well, no. I don't know. Everyone's got access. It's funny because
Everyone's got access to the same talent.
Yeah, I mean, I just joined because I wanted to play footy and Maruka was close, but last year it was Maruka on the end of those beatings. Like, I had a look at the results before I joined, and I was like getting smacked every single week by at least 10 goals. So I was like, right, well, whatever. At least it'll be a bit of fun. So
are you indirectly saying that you're directly responsible for a 250 point per game turnaround?
No, not at all. That goes to a couple of other players that have been very, very good and good pickups.
Okay.
Namely, Candy, who has kicked, I think, 24
John
goals.
Candy?
No, he's kicked 24 goals or something in the first 3 games, so he's doing well.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. And so is it over 30s?
Over 35s.
Are you 35?
Yeah.
Oh, I just forget you're slightly older than me. I think you're only like 6 months older than me, right? I didn't qualify to play over 35s this year, which is annoying because I've only got about 1 good year left in me.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's like for soccer, but for Masters, it's the year you turn 35.
It's not that for soccer.
Yeah, okay.
But also, I did play a game of Masters as a 28-year-old in Aussie rules up for Wilson Grange like years ago, 2017. And I only played a quarter because I kicked 3 goals or something like that. They're like, get him off the field. He can run too much. It's very silly. I don't know why that wasn't even allowed, but somehow it was. Chook chat was good. Keep it up.
Next game will be home, back at Maruka against Ferny Grove on the weekend of the 16th. So we'll be back at home, which will be good. Back at the Chook pen.
The Chook pen.
Yeah.
How's your running meters?
Yeah, good.
Do you wear a GPS or do you wear a little Apple
No,
Watch?
I'll wear it at training, but not going to wear it for game day. But fourth quarter, when I was playing down back, I managed to actually follow my opponent up and down the ground, and I was surprising myself in real time, going, "I can still run. This is crazy."
I like the willingness of your opponent to be getting up and down the ground despite losing by 150 points. Good for him. Because
Yeah.
I was amazed. Like, I got this Apple Watch thing, and I'd never had one before, and I wore it to the first preseason training that I went to last year. I ran 9.5 kilometers.
Wow.
I think I sent you the picture and was like, what's wrong with me? How does this happen? Like, and I hadn't done anything for a while. Not good the next day. Really not good. Yeah, I think I'm done.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with a game against Carlton to chat about, and hopefully Whiteboards can stay out of the news for a week.